Hey all, my name is Alex with Goof and Grump, and today I'm going to be showing you Extraction Command. Extraction Command is a tabletop war game where you direct forces from the deck of a space cruiser. You're going to be deploying squads to the planet's surface, completing mission objectives, and this demo that I'm going to show you has a single solo mission to locate and extract an important VIP and get off world with it. We're going to start with just the rules themselves. This is what the itch page is going to look like. You're going to have spreads and pages versions of the rules as the first two things you can download. And then you're going to want to go ahead and download these 4 items that are in this list. So as you can see, this is what the mission map is going to look like. This is a pre-generated mission map just for the demo. And then the Command Operations Center dashboard right there. That's where all the friendly stuff is. It also shows you what your objectives are, your COC actions that you can perform optionally every round, and then you're going to track your units, everything to do with your friendly units right there. The enemy dashboard, similarly on the right-hand side, you've got everything for tracking your enemy units, your events that happen once around, and then you've got 2 decks, unit type and damage type. I'll go through the materials needed here in just a second. And then this is the unit reference. All units in the game use the same stat blocks, and how they hit each other, how they save versus damage types, and how they succeed in an objective attempt. All of that is listed here on these stat blocks. I've already taken the liberty of setting up the first couple of steps of the demo setup so we can keep this moving. But I wanted to review the materials needed. So you're going to need a standard deck of cards, which you're going to have 2 small decks. One deck going from 9 to king, the other deck going from ace to 5. You're going to need at least 1 polyhedral dice set, at least a D4, a D6, a D8, and a D10. That means a 4-sided die, a 6-sided die, 8-sided die, and a 10-sided die. That's the minimum that you need to play. I recommend more D6s and D4s and tokens in addition to that, because I use all of these in order to represent the units on the board and to differentiate between those units. So I like to use D4s for friendly units and D6s for enemy units. The printed demo mission map, the Command Operations Center dashboard, the enemy dashboard, which I've shown you already. And that's all you're really going to need, and a utensil to write down things with. The mission type for this demo is locate and extract. Suppress, secure, and tech. Those are the objective types that we need to succeed. We're going to place 3 mission objectives utilizing random hex selection. This is a little system that you can use 2d4, a d6, and a d10, or you can just roll that d4 twice, in order to randomly select any hex on the map. So switching to our camera view here, we're going to be going through with a d6. You choose an approach, and you've got numbers along the outside of the map in order to remind you of that. The d10 is an easting, so that's going to be left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The first d4 is going to be the heading. No matter which of these hexes are selected, you're only going to have 2 options as for a direction you can go for your heading. Let's say we had a 3 in our easting, 1, 2, 3, and then let's say we had a 3 for our heading. This would be 1, 2, 3. So we would be going down this line, and the other d4 would be the depth. So let's say I rolled a 3 for that as well. It would be 1, 2, 3. Now there are some specifics as to what is on these hexes, what's represented by them. You've got hexes with cover in them. You've got an enemy hard point here. These are impassable. And then you've got some elevation changes. These are elevation down, as you can see by the down arrow. These are elevation up, as you can see by the up arrow. And this is twice up. Any arrow that you see in the up or down direction, that's how high or low it is from the base level. So all these other ones that don't have arrows, you assume are at the base level. I already placed the 3 objectives. I've got 1, 2, and 3, but I want to show you one time what it's like to randomly select a hex. So I'm going to roll a d10, a d6, and 2 d4. I'm going to start with the d6. We got a 1. So with that 1, we're going to be over here on this approach. And then with the d10, we've got a 6. And that's an easting, so you're always going from left to right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to select this yellow d4 as my heading. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, top to bottom. And then we're going to go depth of 3 with the red D4. 1, 2, 3. So the randomly selected hex from that die roll is hex 6, 4. But the next thing to do is a token drop, 1d4 to place starting hidden enemy units. So let's roll a d4. It's going to be 1 hidden unit. Awesome. Let's go ahead and drop that again. All right, this unit's going to start at 6, 9. And what these tokens represent are hidden enemy units. This is like in a video game or in the movie Aliens when you see something on your radar, but you don't exactly know where it is. It's like motion detected. These tokens represent not yet revealed enemy units. We don't know what kind of enemy unit that is, and we don't know what they're going to do until they get revealed. Anytime one of these tokens is within 2 hexes of a friendly unit, it will be revealed. So my last part of my setup here before I move on, I want to show you the decks of cards that we're using. So this is my unit type deck, 9 through King. That's going to be melee, range, stealth, ordnance, and airborne for the unit types. I'll shuffle that up and I'll put it over here to the side. And then the other little deck is an ace to 5. Each of these decks has 20 cards in it. These damage types are bludgeon, pierce, slash, dissolve, and explode. The ones that are really interesting are dissolve and explode because they prevent saves, meaning that if something gets hit by it, it's much harder to stay alive. We have to select an infiltration hex. It cannot be within 6 hexes of a mission objective or an enemy hidden token. So it cannot be within 3 of an objective or an enemy unit. So it looks like this is going to be my best area. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. Within 2 would be 1, 2. That would be 3. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So I can't be within 3. So I'm going to select my infill. So my location where I drop in, I'm going to put right here at 7, 3. So the next step then is to place an activation token on each of my friendly units, which in the demo, you already have units written into the COC dashboard. I'm just going to give them their current operational effectiveness, which is they start full. And then I'm going to give them each a token. That's how we're going to know whether they've taken their turn or not. And then we don't have to do anything for this dashboard for the enemy just yet. Once we reveal enemy units, then they will show up on this dashboard. At the very back of this book, there's a unit reference. And this is the fastest and easiest way for me to show you this. So going from left to right, we're just going to stick with our melee stat block here. MR is movement range. That's how many hexes you can move in a turn. And what's important to note with that is elevation changes. Anytime you're changing elevation, it requires 2 movement instead of 1. Threat range. Melee is same, means it has to be in the same hex as the target in order to use the strike action to attack an enemy unit. For instance, range down here, they have up to 2 hexes away and they just need line of sight, which means at the same elevation or lower, and they can see each other. The damage type for the melee is bludgeon. The operational effectiveness on melee is 5, and on range it's 4. So the operational effectiveness is both the health of the unit and how many d6s you're going to roll whenever you're doing something with that unit, whether that's an objective action or a unit action. This game takes place in turns and rounds, and each round consists of these 6 steps that are currently listed on screen. You're going to start with player unit activation, then you're going to activate a revealed enemy unit, then any hidden enemy units are going to move. I'll show you how that works. Then you have the option to do a command operations center action from your COC dashboard. What triggers the end of the round is that there's no more activation tokens on either the COC dashboard or the enemy dashboard. So if that's true, then you're going to go to round end, which we'll step through. All that really means is that you're going to resolve an event and then refresh all the activation tokens. And then the game continues in that fashion until either all the player units are dead or the team successfully gets the important item or VIP and extracts off world. We're going to go ahead and take our first unit action. And what we're going to do, since we have not activated the unit yet, it's going to come onto the board on the infill location. So I'm going to activate unit 1, which is a ranged unit. And I'm going to find a D4, and I'm going to put the 1 up to represent unit 1. And now unit 1 is here, and it can move with the ranged movement range of 2. That unit can move 2 hexes. And I want that unit moving towards the objectives to the west and getting there as fast as possible to try to attempt one of them. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and that's going to complete the movement for that turn. Now, an activated unit outside of the movement also has the option for either an objective action or a unit action. Objective actions are if we are in a hex with an objective, we can attempt to complete that objective. And every objective is listed with a type and a number in parentheses, and the number in parentheses is the difficulty. That is how many successes you need in order to complete it. We are not at an objective hex. The closest one is number 3 over here, or number 1 over here. We are not there currently. Each unit action has a type that is just like the objective actions and uses the same stat on the stat block, but they have these little sub actions that require a certain number of successes to occur. One of the things that we can do is we could suppress enemy units, we could suppress an enemy hard point, we could scout out the enemy unit, see what the unit type might be. And I think that's the first thing we're going to do. Since we've only got 1 hidden unit on the board, we're going to do the scout action, which is a discover action. So going back to our board, the ranged unit has under the objective versus a discover is 5+. It's not great, but we're full strength. So we're going to roll 4 D6s and we're going to see what we get. I need 2 5+s in order to be successful and to perform the scout action. Oh, last one. So we unfortunately rolled a 6, a 4, a 2, and a 3. So I was not successful. So that unfortunately is a wasted action by that unit. And now since the enemy doesn't have any revealed units, we're just going to move this guy with a D8 using the directional hex, which there's a reminder on the map for you to use. What this means is that it's going to move in the direction of the value rolled, and on a 7 or 8, just stay still. 7. So that unit is not going to move. We're going to wrap around back to, we're going to activate our stealth unit. That's unit number 4. We need to deploy them to the field. All right. The stealth unit, unit 4, infiltrates here. They have a movement. The stealth unit has a movement of 3 on their stat block, which you can see here, 3. So we can move up to 3, and we're going to have the stealth unit actually going towards this bad guy and objective 2. So 1, 2, 3, and we cannot move through these impassable hexes. So just keep that in mind. That unit is now going to attempt that same discover scout action, but a stealth unit does discover actions on a 3+. 3+. So any 3 or higher that I roll with this unit is a success. 3d6. We rolled a 2, a 4, and a 6. So we rolled 2 successes, which means the scout action will occur. The scout action says, reveal the top card of the unit deck type, then place it back on top of the deck face down or discard it. So if this is an airborne or such, I'm probably going to discard it because I don't want to deal with that. But let's see. So I draw this top card. It is a 10. 10 is ranged. Honestly, could be worse. I think I'm going to put it back on top. I'm not going to discard it so that we know the first enemy unit that's going to be revealed is going to be a ranged unit. That's good information to have. So now we need to roll a d8 for the hidden enemy unit. Rolled a 6. Now the 6 is to go off the map there, which it cannot do, so it will stay still. Now we have the options for the COC actions. I am going to use the COC action scan to reveal a unit anywhere on the mission map. The way you use a COC action, you cross off one of your logistics boxes up here, and then you get to do one of these 4 actions. The one I'm going to do is revealing a unit anywhere on the mission map. So to reveal a unit, we only have one that's not revealed. We're going to draw the top card. Oh, look, it's ranged. We knew that. I'm going to put that over here. And then I'm also going to draw a damage card, but I am not going to look at it. I'm going to keep it face down, waiting for that unit to perform some kind of damage before I get to discover what that is. There are other ways to do that, but by default, this is what it's like. This is going to be enemy unit number 1. So we're going to take the token from the board. We're going to put it here at the enemy token activation slot. Then we're going to grab a D6 and we're going to put it with the 1 face up, and we're going to replace the hex that it was in. And we have to write down here, this is a ranged unit, so it has an operational effectiveness of 4 out of 4. We write down that it's ranged, and we don't know the damage type yet. There's nothing special to note yet. So now it's back to friendly player's turn. We've got a ranged and an ordnance unit still left to deploy. I'm going to deploy, I'm going to deploy my other ranged unit. So that's going to be unit number 2. I'm going to take a D4, place it at the infill. That can move up to 2 squares. 1, 2. Make a nice little front here. And then now that the player has taken their turn, the next thing to check is enemy unit activation capability. We have a token here, so now the enemy unit is going to activate. We take that token off to remember that we've activated this unit. And now this unit gets to use the same range stat block, and it's going to attempt to move towards us. But our ranged unit is going to go 1, 2. Now, this is a ranged unit. This is impassable terrain, so we cannot draw a line of sight through the impassable terrain. So we are not going to be able to fire at our friendly unit, luckily for us. Now, even if we were to go here, we would still not be within 2 hexes, could not fire, so I don't feel bad about doing that. And that's going to conclude that portion of the activation for the enemy unit. Our last and final unit to activate is the ordnance unit, and that's going to be with a 3. And the ordnance unit is very slow. It can only move movement range of 1, but it has a threat range of 3. So with a movement range of 1, I'm just going to move it into a central position. Something to note about what I'm doing with the movement here. Whenever my team fulfills the objective of the mission, which is to locate and then extract with something important, they have to get to this exfiltration hex. So we get credit for each unit that makes it to the exfiltration hex after an exfiltration unit action has been called, and that's when we call our friends to come pick us up and get off planet. And what we're going to see is that we have no more activation tokens on either dashboard, which means now it is end of round. So we are going to roll a D8 and resolve an event, which you can find on the enemy dashboard right here. Rolled a 5. Draw the top card. Draw the top damage type card. You may replace a player unit's damage type with this for the rest of the mission. So damage type 3 is slashing. If it was dissolve or explode, I would definitely take it. But just slashing, I'm not going to worry about. I'm going to discard that. So that's actually not the greatest for me because that just increases the likelihood that I'm going to have to deal with an enemy unit that has explode or dissolve. But to conclude the end of round, we're going to fill up our unit friendly dashboard and the enemy dashboard for any revealed units. Now we're at the top of the round again. We've got unit 4 is my stealth unit. Are they good against ranged? So this is something that's good for thinking out your strategy. This hit versus box is how good that unit type is against the other unit type. Stealth versus ranged is a 5+. Still not great, but maybe we could suppress that unit maybe we could get ourselves in a better position. Now, the stealth unit can reach them, 1, 2, 3, which they do have to be in the same hex in order to target them. So let's see what we want to do. Suppressing a unit is a suppress type action. Stealth can suppress on a 5+, and stealth can hit a ranged unit on a 5+. So either way, we're just going on a 5+. So I think if I move my ranged unit right here 2 hexes, I can target this hex because I can draw a line without having to go through the impassable hex. So we're going to activate unit 2. And then we're going to move 1, 2. And we are going to target this enemy unit with a strike action. So a strike action goes like this. You take a number of d6s equal to your current operational effectiveness, which this is a full strength unit, so we have 4 die to use. And we have a ranged unit attacking a ranged unit. The units attacking the same type hit on a 2+. So any 2+ on this without, including modifiers. We don't have any modifiers right now, but a 2+ will hit. So those are all hits. And now we need to see, are there any saves? Our ranged unit is using piercing damage. And so a ranged unit saves on a 6+ against piercing damage. So we had 4 hits. We take all 4 of those dice that were hits, we roll them, and we see there's a 6 is a save, but the other 3 damage is going to go through. So we come in here. We're going to take 3 damage, which means this is going to go from 4 operational effectiveness to 1, which is good for us. But now the enemy unit is going to activate because they have the option. And they are going to fire back. So they're firing only with 1, but they're going to hit on a 2+. A 2, they are going to hit. Now what's the damage type? We're going to reveal this card that we've had sitting here for a little while. Damage type is dissolve, which is not great. Damage type dissolve, which means ranged units. There's a dash here for dissolve saves. They do not save against dissolve damage. So unit 2 is going to take 1 damage it cannot save against. So unit 2 is reduced to 3 out of 4 operational effectiveness. Another unit, we're going to activate our number 1 ranged unit. This unit needs to go uphill. There's 2 elevation changes that we need to get through to get to the top of this. So this has 2 movement range. We can only get up the first elevation. So in order to get fully into hex 4-3, we're going to have to spend all of our movement next round to achieve that. So right now we're still technically in 5-3 with this unit, but it is moving up. So I'm going to use this to remind myself with an up arrow on the dashboard. Enemy dashboard has no more activation tokens. There are no hidden enemy unit tokens. So we just keep going. No COC action that I want to take. I'm going to activate either my stealth or my ordnance now. I think I'm going to move my ordnance. We're not going to take any, 1, 2, 3. So ordnance can fire with indirect fire 3 hexes. And indirect fire can go over impassable terrain. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to have this ordnance do a strike action against what's left of this unit. 3 operational effectiveness against a ranged unit. Let's see, ordnance versus ranged is hits on a 4+. We only hit with 1 out of my 3 rolls. Luckily, there's only 1 left. My ordnance damage type is bludgeoning, and so ranged saves against bludgeon on a 6. 6, which means this guy saved. No damage is dealt. When you save, not dealt. Number 4 is our stealth unit. 1, 2, 3. So now that the stealth unit is in this hex that has cover, so it is currently getting the benefit of having a lot of stuff around it to defend itself against the enemy. So now we're at the end of round again because we have no more activation tokens on the board. So we're going to roll an event. 4, erase 1 spent logistics mark. This has been really good rolls for the event for me, I guess. So I erased that logistics mark that I spent, and now I have all 4 of my logistics uses back. So we're going to refresh the board like so. And then the player takes an action. I want to take out that unit that still needs to go. So we're going to start by activating Unit 2. Unit 2 is going to do a strike action. And this is a good time to note that you can take an action and then move, or you can move and then take an action. You just can't split up the movement, like move, action, move. You got to do either all your action, all your move, and then do the other. So we're going to take 3 D6s. And we're hitting on a 2+. That's 3 hits. Unless we roll 3 6s, this unit is dead. So that is not that. So this unit is dead. Our Unit 2 is going to get a unit kill check mark. And then this unit, and then this is going to come off. And we get to erase everything relating to this unit. So right now, I got a clean board. This is great. If I can find my mission objective, I can extract with it. I can get out of here without too much damage to my units. But let's see. The events can always bring more enemies to the board. Now that we've done this, we're going to put ourselves in a position that we can suppress this enemy hard point because enemies might come from there. But that's going to conclude. Oh, actually, we're going to go one more because that's 2 movements in total because we've got objective 2 right here. All right, we're not going to take a COC action. We're going to activate our stealth unit. They're going to move 1, 2 into the objective. Going back through, no enemy, no COC action that we want to take. We're going to activate our ranged unit number 1. They're already up 1 level. We're going to have them go up that 2nd level. All 2 of their movement range, which puts them up at the top here on 4-3, but they can't move any farther and they don't really have anywhere else to go right now. So I think what I'm going to do is have them do that discover action again, trying to get some information about what kind of enemy I should expect next. So range units doing a discover action is on a 5+, but we've got 4 dice to use. 2 6s, which means I got 2 successes, which means I get to look at this top card, which is a 10. That's another ranged unit. There we go, 10. Another ranged unit. I'm just going to put that back because I'm okay with dealing with ranged units. If I get some airborne or melee, it's not going to be as good. That concludes that unit's turn. Going back around, no enemies, no COC. We're going to activate our ordnance unit. Ordnance unit, what can we do with our ordnance unit right now? So what we're going to do is a collect threat evidence. This is a tech type unit action. So we need 2 successes from the ordnance on a tech. Ordnance can succeed on a tech on a 4+. So we've got 3 dice and we need 2 4+. We got a 6 and a 4 as a result. So we got 2 successes. So we get to reveal the top card of the unit damage type deck. It's a 2, which is piercing, which we're going to put back. We're not going to discard that. We like piercing damage. On end of round check, we are out of things to do on our dashboards, which means it is now end of round. All right, let's see if we continue with our streak of good rolling for the player on the event. A 7. Place a hidden enemy unit token at a random enemy hardpoint. So we only have 1 enemy hardpoint on this map. If there was more than 1, we would roll to see which one it would be on. But now we're going to place an enemy hidden token there. But as I said in the beginning, if an enemy hidden unit token is ever within 2 hexes of a friendly unit, we have to reveal it immediately. So this unit is going to be revealed. It's a 10, which we already knew was going to happen. So this is going to go down to the enemy dashboard. Well, we're going to make this unit 2. And we know this is ranged. We've got 3 dice that we're going to roll our operational effectiveness of the stealth unit against this secure type objective. We need a 5+. I rolled a 6. So, but only one. Now, I do have another unit there, and I wanted that unit to attack that enemy there, but instead I am going to have them try to complete this. So our secure, we got one objective success. But we're going to review something that I haven't done yet. Now we need to look at who is this enemy unit going to attack. We've got this stealth unit performing the objective. We've got this range unit that could be a threat that's closer, but they're technically the same distance away. Now I know that this unit is doing something interesting, and I also know that I need this unit in order to try to complete that objective. So what do we think the enemy is going to do? We have a little system for deciding this on page 12 of the demo rulebook. This is the Cosmic Oracle. This works just like other oracles in tabletop role-playing games, where you're going to ask yourself a yes or no question. Then you're going to ask yourself, how likely is it that the answer is yes? Then you're going to roll against that. So this game uses a lot of D6s. So our oracle is a D6. And I think that this enemy unit doesn't really know what's going on. And it's just kind of coming into the situation. So I'm going to say it's about a 50-50 shot which one of these enemies it's going to go for. And it is ranged, so it actually doesn't have to move to attack it. So what that means is I think that it's a 50-50 chance. So I'm going to roll this, and on a 4+, it attacks the ranged unit. And on a 3 or lower, it is going to attack the stealth unit. So I rolled a 2, which means it's going to attack the stealth unit. The stealth unit gets has a -1 to rolls against it while it's in cover. This enemy range unit is going to roll with 4 operational effectiveness. It's a fresh unit. It's attacking a stealth unit, so it already needs a 6+ in order to hit that. We would need 7s on D6s. Impossible without some modifier. So luckily for us, we're going to say that this range unit fires into the stealth unit, impossible to hit because the stealth unit's in cover. So we are going to say that that enemy unit has activated and they are ineffective, luckily for me. All right, so at the end of that enemy unit's activation, I now get the option to do a COC action. And I am going to do that because this is a secure type objective action, and I really want to guarantee that I'm going to succeed here because I need 2 successes and I'm only rolling 3 dice. So I'm going to mark a logistics box and I'm going to do the strafe action. The strafe action adds a +1 to suppress and secure objective rolls for this round. My ship is strafing the area and is suppressing and securing this space. So that means that I'm rolling 3 dice and I get to add a +1 to the totals. A range unit doing a secure objective action succeeds on a 2+. So now I'm succeeding on a 1+ basically because I get to add +1 to each of the die that I'm rolling. So it's impossible for me to fail now, and I spent a resource to do that. So let's roll just to make sure. I got 2 5s and a 2, so it's not bad. But if I had rolled 2 1s and I hadn't used that resource, I'd be very upset. So completing what's happened here. Unit 2 has completed an objective by adding a total of 3. Between the 2 units, we've completed the secure objective. Now, during this mission type of locate and extract, once you complete an objective action, in the rules, you'll see there is a box here at the end of the section about objective actions where you're going to see what objective completion number is this, and then you're going to roll a d6. And you get a success on a 6+, meaning you find the mission objective target, the VIP, the strain of DNA, the egg, whatever it is. You find what you need to extract, and you can go to the exfil and call for extraction. So on a 6+, I have found the objective. So I forgot to switch the camera, but I rolled a 3. which means I have not found my objective, my mission objective yet. So the game continues. There's no enemy dashboard unit to activate. There's no hidden enemy units to worry about. No COC action this round that I want to do. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to activate unit number 1. Unit number 1 is going to move to objective 3. And this is a range unit doing a tech action. Unit 1 is fully outfitted, so they're going to get 4 operational effectiveness die. We are succeeding on a tech action on a 3+. We got 3 5s, so that's 3 successes, which means we have just completed our second objective. 1, 2, 3. So even though I messed that up, managed to succeed. Now, we discover and find our mission target on a 4+. What did I roll? I forgot to change it again. And I rolled a 2. Excellent rolling, as usual. So I could have had an easy time, but that is not the case. So we continue. I need to do that third objective, which is over here. And then that's where my mission object is, my mission target is. I need to get it, and I need to get to the extraction point. We're going to activate our ordnance unit. And the ordnance unit's going to move to 5/5, and it's going to fire at that unit 2 to finally do some damage to it with a strike action. Ordnance against ranged, we need a 4+ to hit. Wow, bad roll. I got a 6. Ordnance damage type is a bludgeon. So we roll a 6+ to save. Does not save. This range unit gets their operational effectiveness reduced to 3. And that will conclude the round. So now we resolve an event. We rolled a 5. Draw the top damage type card. You may replace a player unit's damage type with this type for the rest of the mission. A 4 is dissolve. Wow. I think I'm going to give my stealth unit dissolve damage. I like to think that they find some kind of weapon coating that they can put on their weapons that makes them do dissolve type damage, which is super cool. We need to refresh our tokens for the player dashboard, and we still have a unit on the enemy dashboard, but player gets to go first. I'm going to activate unit 4. I'm going to send my stealth unit after that ranged unit. Stealth versus ranged is a 5+ to hit, but if I hit, I'm doing dissolve damage. So come on, let's see some 5s and 6s. That is a 4, a 1, and a 2, so unfortunate. Ranged unit gets to activate. Pull this token off. Ranged unit gets to activate. They're going to obviously attack the stealth unit that just attacked them. Range versus stealth is a 6+ though. So 3 dice, 6+. All right, luckily they also rolled poorly. They're not going to move outside of that. So friendly player turn. Ranged is going to attack that ranged unit. The enemy, this ranged unit is going to attack this enemy ranged unit. We're rolling 3. Range versus range is on a 2+. That's 3 hits. We're doing piercing damage. They saved one of them, so that's 2 hits. So this enemy range unit is at 1 out of 4. All right, I don't really feel like doing a COC action. Let's start moving our other units. Unit number 1 is going to move. It's going to use both of its movement to move down that 1 elevation onto the exfil spot, but it's not ready to go yet. No enemy units to speak of. No COC actions I want to take, so we're gonna move the ordnance unit once over, and then it's going to be end of round. We rolled a 1. Add 1d4 hidden enemy unit tokens to the mission map via random hex selection. So this is the one you don't want. Random hex selection requires a d6, 2d4, and a d10. We're going to do 1d4 enemy units. So I'll roll this d4 first. 1 enemy unit, lucky, very lucky. Don't want more than that. It can get real spicy if you roll more than that. So we rolled a 4, a 2, a 4, and a 3. 4 is our approach. 2 is our easting, 1, 2. 4 is our heading, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 is our depth, 1, 2, 3. Look at that, right on top of my ordnance unit. Fun. So we have to instantly reveal it. It's a 9, which is a melee unit. That is spicy. So let's grab this green die. I like the way this one looks. We're going to make this unit number 3. It's going to go underneath the ordnance there. Draw a damage type, tuck it under. Melee has a 5 operational effectiveness, unit type melee. And we don't know what kind of damage it does yet. But that was an end of round event. So luckily I get to refresh my units and then take an action before I move on. Let's review the turn order just so we know when the COC action takes place. Player unit activation goes first, then revealed enemy unit activation, then hidden enemy movement, then command operations center action option, then we check for end of round. So luckily in this example, I haven't had a lot of hidden enemy units moving around the board, but we're still having some interesting decision making here. So first thing we're going to do, I think ordnance versus melee does hit on a 3+. I think we have to try. Got to give the ordnance a fighting chance. So we're going to take our 3 die. That is 2 hits. Ordnance does bludgeon damage. Now the melee unit saves on a bludgeon on a 5+. 6. So they saved one of the 2 hits. So this is going to go from a 5 to a 4 though, which is still very much worth it. But now it's their turn. They're going to activate. They've got 4 operational effectiveness against ordnance. Melee against ordnance hits on a 5+. That is 3 hits. Now we get to see what the damage type is. Damage type is a 5. That is explosion. That's explode damage. That does not bode well, except ordnance is the only unit type that has any save against explode, because they fire off explosive shells themselves. But that is on a 6+, so we're saving on 6s. That's 3 failures to save, which means my ordnance unit just got blown up and taken out off the map. Psh, boom! Unfortunate. Well, I went from like a clean sweep, gonna get my objective and get off the map, to losing a unit in 1 attack. So as you can see, play smart because you can get killed pretty quick. My turn. We're gonna have unit 1 fire at that melee unit. Range versus melee hits on a 3+. We're rolling 4 operational effectiveness. 3+. Wow, the rolls. So I rolled a 5, only 1 hit. All right, that unit is doing piercing damage against melee. Melee saves on a 5. They saved. No damage is dealt. So I'm going to take a COC action now. I'm going to use the bombard action. So mark my logistics. Perform a strike action as ordnance against all units on a single hex anywhere on the mission map. And the damage type is explode. So this is a damage type explosion. I'm basically firing massive shells from the deck of the ship to this hex. So a full strength ordnance attack is operational effectiveness 3. Operational effectiveness against melee is a 3+. Wow, bad rolls. Okay, 1 hit. Melee does not get to save against explode damage, so that is just a hit. So this melee unit gets reduced down to 3 operational effectiveness. I'm going to have unit 2 activate. They're going to go 1, 2. They can draw line of sight to this hex. They're going to attack. Ranged against melee is on a 3+. Operational effectiveness 3. That's 3 hits. That unit's doing piercing damage, saving a 5. That's 2 saves, 1 damage dealt to that melee unit. So that melee unit is 2 out of 5. No enemy unit to activate. No hidden units. COC dashboard. Do I want to hit it again? I'm going to bombard it again. We're going to do a bombard action with the COC deck, because why not? We're going to do it against the same unit. We're hitting on a 3+, damage type explode. All right, we hit twice that time. This unit is destroyed. My stealth unit is going to get out of there. 1, 2, 3. All right, end of round. Roll an event. 7, place an enemy hidden unit at random hard point. So we are going to place a hidden enemy unit here. All right, then we're going to refresh. So we are at the top of a round. We've only got 1 enemy unit revealed, 1 enemy unit that is hidden. And I've only got 3 friendly units that I can use to complete this mission. So I need to go to that objective. I think I need to do that first. So we're going to activate. This guy is blown up by the ship. We're going to activate Unit 2. We're completing a suppress type objective. Ranged units do suppress on a 3+. So this unit here, number 2. I'll show you what I'm looking at here. We're going to activate Unit 2. We're going to have Unit 2 go try to do the suppress objective action. 1, 2 at the spot. Operational effectiveness of Unit 2 is 3. We need 3 pluses to succeed. All right, that's 2 successes. So I'm going to mark that as 1, 2. And we need 1 more before round end in order to get that done. And I think my stealth unit can make it. Though, unfortunately, suppresses on a 5+. But we're gonna try that when we get the chance. We're gonna activate the enemy unit that's up. It's going to move into range. And it's going to attack that stealth unit because it's closest. Needs a 6. Oh. Ranged against stealth is a 6+ already. It's in cover. Needs a 7. Cannot succeed. So it's not going to do anything there. I'm going to activate my stealth unit. 1, 2, 3. All in the same elevation. That stealth unit performs a suppress action on a 5+. It's got 3 operational effectiveness. I did get the 1 I needed. I got a 5. I had 2 objectives already. 2 objective successes already. That's my 3rd. Now I have completed all 3 objectives on the map. Now I have successfully found my mission objective, and I need to call for extraction. So Unit 1 is not going to do it just yet because I don't think Unit 2 can make it, because Unit 2 is going to need all their movement to get here. And whenever you call for extraction, the end of the next round, everybody has to be at the extraction point in order to get out of here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to mark that there was another objective completed by that unit. And then I'm going to put, under notes, I'm going to put VIP, because Unit 4 is actually carrying the mission objective right now. So then we're going to activate Unit 1. Unit 1 is going to move here, and it's going to fire at that ranged unit. Unit 1 has operational effectiveness 4. Ranged against range hits on a 2+. That's going to be a clean sweep. And Unit 1 is doing piercing damage, so this saves on a 5+. Oh, sorry, that is a ranged unit, not a melee unit, so that saves on a 6+. So 2 of them saved, 2 of them failed, but there's only 1 unit in there. So that is a dead enemy unit that Unit 1 got. So Unit 1 gets a unit kill. This comes off. We're going to roll to see where that hidden unit goes. Stay still, and then we roll an event. 1d8 event on the enemy dashboard. Let's Take a moment. We rolled a 6. The hazard listed on the mission map takes effect. What's the hazard on the mission map? The hazard on the mission map is quakes. -1 movement range and threat range while triggered. That is just going to slow me down and be very annoying. But that is the end of the round, so we're going to refresh our friendly COC dashboard. And then we're going to start taking turns. So I'm down 1 movement range for all my units this round. That sucks. But they're not in immediate danger. So what we're going to do is we're going to activate the stealth unit first. They're going to use the 2 movement that they have to get all the way up this elevation. That's all they're going to do. Check movement on the hidden unit. That's a 5. That's going to go this way. Then we're going to activate unit 1. Nope, we're going to activate unit 2. They're going to get halfway up here because they only have 1 movement this round. So they get an up arrow mark on their sheet. Then we're going to do movement. A 4. And that unit now needs to be revealed because it just moved within range. Unit type is melee. We're going to say that's unit number 4. That's melee. He's going to come at me through the cover hexes. I think I'm going to do it now. I'm going to use my last logistics for this mission. And I'm going to use a bombard action against that melee unit. Bombard against melee. Ordnance against melee is 3+. That's 3 hits. Damage type explode. Melee cannot save against. So that unit is going to be at a 2 out of 5 right away. And then I'm going to activate unit 1. Move him over to the exfil. And then I'm going to have him call for exfil, which is a tech action. Ranged is tech's on a 3+. We only needed 1 success and we got 3. So now extraction has been called. We need to have all of our units on this exfil location in order to get them off planet. And especially we need the stealth unit with the VIP at the exfil at the end of this next round. But it's the bad guy's turn now. They're going to move. Melee moves 3. So they're going to do 1. Ooh, but there's quakes. So they're only going to move 2. So they're going to move 1. I'm going to have them move 2 to here. Now we're going to do an event. Number 3, objective action roll, suffer -1 for the round. Luckily, we are done with objective rolls, but that would take a -1 from all die rolled for objectives. But what we're going to do now is hopefully complete this mission. All we got to do is get the thing to the exfil. And we just have to hold off this 1 enemy unit with 2 out of 5 operational effectiveness. So, player gets to go first. So stealth has to be on the same hex. And if I move over there and attack with stealth unit, they're not going to make it to the exfil. I'm going to have this ranged attack. What we're going to do is activate unit number 1. They're going to stay right where they are. They're going to, oh, never mind. I'm going to attempt to suppress that unit. Suppress unit. Target unit cannot perform the strike action during their next activation. That would be huge because I'm just trying to get off planet. So let's do that. We're going to attempt to suppress. It's in our target range. And we don't have to worry about the fact that he's got cover. We're just trying to suppress him. So we need 2 successful suppress objective successes. Ranged doing suppress is a 3+. We've got 4 dice to do it. Give me 2 3+. So that suppress action is unsuccessful. 1 success. So that is entirely a wasted turn from unit 1. Now it's that melee unit's turn to activate. They're going to use their movement to go up into this unit. Unit 1, we've got 2 against the melee. Let's see what the damage type is. Damage type is bludgeon. All right. Melee versus ranged is on a 3+. 2 hits. Ranged will save on a 6. No saves. 2 hits. This unit goes down to 2 out of 4. Now it is time for the other units to go. I'm going to activate Unit 2. It's going to attempt to kill off that melee. Range versus melee, it hits on a 3+. 2 hits. Save on a 5+. 1 save. So this melee unit has 1 operational effectiveness remaining. And it's going to be the stealth unit's turn. The stealth unit's got that dissolve damage. Come on, stealth unit. Versus melee is a 3+. That is a kill for the stealth unit. All right. And so as that stealth unit eviscerates and dissolves the enemy melee unit, it is now time to extract. The shuttle comes down, picks up the team, and the living remaining units fly back up to the ship, and we conclude the mission. So at mission end, we're going to get 3 points per objective completed, 1 point per unit kill, and 2 points per friendly unit successfully extracted. 3 points in unit kills. Objectives, we did all 3, so that is 3, 6, 9 objectives completed. 9 plus 3 is 12, plus we extracted successfully 3 units, so that's 2, 4, 6 units, so that's 18 total points. Please try out this game for yourself. Give us whatever feedback you can. goof@goofandgrump.com, or just leave comments directly on the itch.io page. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough/playthrough. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video for more stuff from us. Check out goofandgrump.com, and check out me at glyphandgrok.substack.com. Again, this is Alex with Goof and Grump. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.